Okay, Ashley, can I have roll call, please?
Briggs,
Here.
Cavalier,
Here.
Kressel,
Here.
Klatt,
Here.
Vedbrotten,
Here.
Melby,
Here.
Jurdy. Here. Erickson.
Here.
Okay, this time for the open forum. Anyone like to address the council on any issue not on tonight's agenda may come to the podium. State your first and last name and address, please.
Bob Maxim, 318 Chrome Street. I'm here tonight to address the council. I would encourage the council, or at least I'm asking the council and the city in general to relook at their sidewalk policy, look at being a little bit more proactive. I'm here to address two issues that I have. The city poured a sidewalk in front of my home due to a water main issue. Yep, I understood the digging up. 1 year after that sidewalk was poured, it went from this to this, okay? I addressed the proper people that I felt was to address. I've done it multiple times. It hasn't done any good. To my knowledge, the city has not looked at it. I was asked, is it a trip hazard? It is a trip hazard. I would invite anyone to come and look and disagree. It is a trip hazard. The reason why I'm much more concerned of just being in front of my property, my wife does in-home daycare. I got a lot of foot traffic, a lot of basically people to fall. And if you do daycare in your home, if somebody falls on your property, you're scrutinized. You are guilty until you can prove different. We've had that situation. We really don't want to go through that again. I encourage the council to take a walk through the Woods Edition. There's a lot of sidewalk, a lot. We walk with the neighborhood with the kids. There's a lot of sidewalk that is in bad shape. I think we gotta be better. The city charges a fee, which I understand, which is great that they do. We gotta do better. We gotta do better throughout the whole town. Don't leave out the Woods Edition, don't leave out the old homes. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Bob.
Any reason, Pat, why that hasn't been addressed, or has it been addressed, or?
Councilmember Vedbrotten, I would like to be able to have a little bit of time just to work with staff, and we will get out and take a look at that and evaluate our policy, and we'll go take a look at those particular areas, and then we'll report back to you.
Anyone else?
Chad, would you be willing to check the phone bridge?
Agent logged off.
The bridge is closed, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, moving on, we have two presentations tonight. If I could get Pat Kelly and Scott Riepel to step up here, please.
I know.
All right. Pat Kelly, in grateful recognition for your 30 years of outstanding contributions, exceptional performance, and dedicated commitment to the city of Crookston. Congratulations on your retirement. Your leadership and vision will be missed by the citizens of this community. And the grateful from the city council, employees, and grateful citizens of Crookston. Presented July 23rd, 2021. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You will be missed. To Scott Riepel, in grateful recognition for your 40 years of outstanding contributions, exceptional performance, and dedicated commitment to the city of Crookston. Congratulations on your retirement. Your leadership and vision will be missed by the citizens of this community. From the City Council, employees, and grateful citizens of Crookston, presented June 4th, 2021. All right, moving on. Can I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I make that
Your Honor.
motion, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
It's on the consent, ain't
is it all right if I add it to the consent agenda? 6.0,
it? Do you want to wait until we get to the consent, or?
That's fine.
Okay. Got a motion by Clayton,
I second that motion.
a second by Delane. Thank you. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Kressel,
Aye.
Platt,
Aye.
Van Bratton,
Aye.
Melby,
Aye.
Jurdy. Aye. Erickson.
Aye.
Okay, we have one item to add to the consent agenda. Ashley, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. If we could add 6.03, a resolution accepting bids and awarding contract for the 2021 local funded street improvements, Your Honor.
I have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
I make that motion, Your Honor.
Thank you, Delane. Is there a second?
Second, Your Honor.
Second by Don. Thank you. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Kressel,
Aye.
Platt,
Aye.
Van Bratton,
Aye.
Melby,
Aye.
Jurdy. Aye. Erickson.
Aye.
Okay, no public hearings. This brings us to the regular agenda. Ashley.
Yes, Your Honor. 8.01 is a resolution approving the limited use permit for the Welcome to Crookston signage at 2 locations on US Highway 2.
I have a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Got Joe
Second.
and Steve. Thank you. Discussion?
Is that one on 75, is that gonna be just gone, or what are they gonna do with that one?
No, that's one of the two.
Pardon me?
That's one of the two.
Gonna be there yet?
Yep.
Okay. It's gonna be just like these, or what?
It'd be just like, it'd be that one on here on Highway 2 and the one on 75. It's like the ones that were there,
Okay.
but new.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Kressel,
Aye.
Platt,
Aye.
Van Bratton,
Aye.
Melby,
Aye.
Jurdy. Aye. Erickson.
Aye.
Okay, moving on.
8.02 is a resolution to approve the Rehabilitation Loan Program Deferred Loan Repayment Agreement and Mortgage Satisfaction, Your Honor.
Motion to approve this resolution.
So move.
Thank you, Wayne. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Christie. Discussion?
Your Honor, if I may, just for the public and the council, I know you received my memo, but this was a Small Cities Development Grant loan that has been satisfied, terms have been met, so we've just been asked to sign a satisfaction. City staff has reviewed the loan and recommends approval of this resolution.
Thank you, Amy. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Kressel,
Aye.
Platt,
Aye.
Van Bratton,
Aye.
Melby,
Aye.
Jurdy. Aye. Erickson.
Aye.
8.03 is a restructure and reoperating efficiency update, Your Honor.
So, go to Amy. This is just kind of a FYI.
Yes, I've got a list of things to visit about, but some of them I will wait until the mayor calls for the items later on the agenda. But under our restructure and operating efficiency update, I would like to offer to council and the public, we've been taking a hard look at how we're utilizing our resources that we have. That means staff, that means resources, supplies, how we're structured. We've identified a few areas we believe we can handle things better, to service ourselves internally and to provide better service externally. One of those areas is our finance department. It's been through changes in the past few years that have caused different duties to shift depending on who was in what place. So when our last finance director resigned, she was also carrying the duties of city clerk. And currently, we have our deputy city clerk, Ashley, serving in that role, and we feel that it makes more sense to have those duties report under the administrator versus the finance. Right now, I am an experienced clerk, but aside from that, the clerk duties really do roll up to and help serve the city council in agenda preparation, in closing out documents. We think we can work more efficiently in that way. So that's one of the structure changes we're looking at now. The other area that currently falls under our finance department is how we're handling our human resources activities. That includes, again, servicing our internal customers. We would like to, and we are working on, a position that handles human resources that can serve all of our union members and not just be a member of one. Someone that can really take a good look at our open enrollments on what our benefits are we getting the most cost-effective option as an employer, and offering benefits to employees to help attract, retain, provide those benefits for our employees that make this a good place to work. Most of us need benefits. Also someone that can be a subject matter expert on those things. If someone has a question about their retirement or some of our elective options, we'd like to get that under a human resources title so they can start doing that, working with our onboarding. We feel like we can do a little bit better job with that, getting our new employees on board, understanding their roles, understanding the structure. And then as the mayor announced tonight, we have 2 big retirements coming up. We've been working hard internally to evaluate how do those positions work now and how would we like to see those work in the future. One of the main things I've been working on with our Parks and Recreation Department, there are new things in that department that simply did not exist when that last job description was written. We have a new arena. We have different programming. We have a pool. We have a splash pad. We would like to put a little bit more focus on promoting, marketing, increasing awareness, increasing use of facilities, partnering with people, increasing programs and interest in participation. So those are things that as we are ready to bring forth that job description, that you will see. We're hearing that from the community. We believe that just in our strategic planning sessions, we talked about we have some amenities here and we need to showcase them a little bit better, and that's gonna be a focus with that job description. And then I do have a few more things that fall under the restructure, but Your Honor, if I may, I think I'll wait until you call the next agenda items so that I can explain those under that.
Thank you. Ashley.
Item 8.04 is a resolution calling for the public hearing and questions on the rescission of the enabling resolution concerning the Crookston Housing and Economic Development Authority and to dissolve the Crookston Housing and Economic Development Authority, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ashley. Can I have a motion to
I'll
approve
make
this
that
resolution?
motion, Your Honor.
Thank you, Don. Is there a
Second it.
second? Second by Delane. Discussion, we're gonna start with Amy.
Okay, I'd just like to, first, I understand there's some questions that many of you have had from the public, and those of you that have shared them with me, I have tried to put together a description that should help answer some of those. First, I think it's important that we state that the city council is the highest governing authority of a city. The city council is responsible for determining how best to handle certain activities, and economic development is huge. It's huge for our vitality. It's huge for attracting citizens, commerce, industry. So with that, the city council and city staff recommendation must determine how's the best way to handle that efficiently. How can we do it and maximize the resources that we have available to us? And back to the efficiency and the operating structure. Currently, we have a city administrator and an economic development director. We have 2 sets of financials. We have 2 governing boards. We have 2 audits. We have 1 main source of funding, which is typically coming from the city's budget. And the city acts as the primary vehicle for applications for state funding. Communication, from my point of view, is very inefficient. I compare it much to the game of telephone. If a developer is talking to the economic development director and the EDA director talks to the administrator, and the administrator has to go ask the directors for information and possibly the city engineer, Then that has to roll back through me, to the director, to the developer, sometimes directly to the developer. I feel like it is a recipe for losing important information in the transmission of that information between those. This resolution before you is simply to call for a public hearing, to set a time and date. And as we can see from the audience today, there are people interested in this subject. There have been long-standing conversations in our public about concerns, about hopes, about wants, about desires on what economic development looks like for us, how that's handled. This is an opportunity for the city council in an organized and formal fashion to invite the public that we all work for and serve to come and share those ideas, concerns, questions with you to help you in making that next decision. Tonight is not the night where that decision is made. It's simply to set the public hearing. And then I know there is some question on the housing, and I would like again to get to that once we call for that particular agenda item.
Yeah, I want to remind council that the discussion tonight on this resolution is, should we or have a public hearing or not? That is the only question on the table. Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Kressel,
Nay.
Platt,
Aye.
Ved Bratton.
I abstain. I think that we need a lot more information on this here. I really commend Wake for his article in the paper, for digging into this. This is the most we've heard about it since it started. I heard it on a Friday night from a constituent, and to do something of this magnitude and not have any more information in this, I'm not willing to vote on it.
Melby,
Aye.
Jurdy,
Aye.
Erickson.
I'm gonna abstain also. I researched the last day and a half, we got the information on Friday. I don't like how it went down. I think we're kind of embarrassed that the board that sits on the Cheetah board wasn't notified, their employees was not notified. I had people that called me before I even knew about it. Normally, council comes out 3:30, 4 o'clock packets, they're all at 1 o'clock with this on there. And I just don't think we're rushing into this. I don't like to vote on anything that I'm not comfortable with, and I have not done enough homework, and I have not had enough time, and I need to look at more things.
Your Honor, we have 5 yeses, 1 no, and then 2 no votes, so it passes.
Thank you, Ashley.
So, Your Honor,
Yes.
could you explain to these folks what that means now? This was just to get it into a public hearing, correct?
Correct.
This does not abolish anything. This
Nope.
doesn't take anything apart, Tom. So, I mean, now it gives us the 2 weeks to go ahead and get our information, hopefully get some more input from the audience here and from the constituents. And to yours, my phone's been ringing hot since Friday night. And like I told you today, call me on my other home line, landline, because my other one was so hot I couldn't keep it to my ear anymore. So there is a lot of stuff out there, but this is to bring it to a head. This is, to me, this is bringing the elephant in the room that everybody's talked about. Well, let's sit down and do something about it.
And I also feel that it's up to the council to get in contact with your constituents in your ward, get the information, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and then you come back and make the decision you feel that you're comfortable with.
When you say that, I also think it's up to the council to make these decisions, and I don't know who made this decision to do this in the first place. It's never been talked to us as a council. I really think, Amy, you're overstepping your bounds. I think you're supposed to, according to your contract, you're supposed to make recommendations to us. This is not a recommendation, as far as I'm concerned. You're supposed to bring recommendations to us.
Councilman Ved Bratton,
Yeah.
this is a recommendation, and I do fully
A
recognize.
resolution isn't a recommendation.
I do recognize this is a tough discussion to have. There are lingering feelings in this community. Since I came and before I came, this has been a constant topic. I don't believe this is news to anyone in the room, And part of being an elected and appointed official is to have these discussions in the public view.
Well, we
I
we've
mean,
had them in Ways and Means before, and they're all open to the public.
And we, I agree with this, opening it to the public. I think it is where it needs to be, so now the public can come in and voice their concerns if they have any, and I mean, we work for the public. I don't see any problem with this.
I would like to make a comment also. I really agree with what Dallin said, because we need to know and study everything that we're doing in the city. I've had 20 calls, and like the former mayor said over there, that for and against whatever we're going to be talking about, and tonight's not tonight to do that. Tonight's to do research on it, find out what you are thinking, the public's thinking, and share our differences and what we're agreeing with. I think we need to look at this situation real carefully right now.
I guess I have no trouble looking at it. I mean, absolutely we should have the public involved, but just the way we went about it, I think was totally wrong. I just look at when I don't know enough, when I get a phone call that I'm not briefed in enough, is not a good thing. We're supposed to be representatives of our ward, and it goes out to the media before I even looked at it, and it comes back to me. Well, if I don't have an answer, that's embarrassing for me. I have to call, figure out what's going on. This is like, whoever said it, this is the first we've heard of this. No, the planning session we had, we never mentioned anything about this. Any council meeting, any Ways and Means, we've never mentioned this. And all of a sudden it comes out in a resolution. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to address this, but it's the way we went about it is totally wrong in my eyes.
I agree 100% with Steve just said. Wish we'd had a little bit more time. I also got calls before I knew about it, and we need to figure out that portion of it so that doesn't happen again. It's not very fun to tell a constituent that you have no idea what he's talking about. So that's just something that needs to change.
My other question is this what we're gonna do now, or are we done with Ways and Means? This was a perfect place for a Ways and Means item on there, and you had nothing on there, there's nothing to address tonight. Well, by the looks of the audience and what we got here, we could discuss it all night long. And I know it's coming up in the future, whatever, with the public, they gotta come back or whatever, but it would've been a good start, so we know where we're at and what the feeling is. Let these people explain it now a little bit. But the Ways and Means, are we done with those? We haven't had one in.
There was an idea when I came that everything had to go to Ways and Means before the city council. The Ways and Means is a committee. And the way to talk about things seated as the council is to talk about them seated as the council. I feel that that's most appropriate when the governing body is addressing governing body decisions as the governing body and not as a committee. I think in this case and in other cases, and the reason we're getting stuff on the agenda, there's one way to start a conversation. Governing body members should be talking about these things publicly. So it could have gone on the Ways and Means agenda, or it could have gone on here. I think this is the most appropriate. For the governing body, your elected officials, I'm an appointed official. I believe this is the correct setting to handle decisions and discussions of this magnitude.
I'd like to say, this is a hard decision, and that there's a lot of people that could be affected by this, and it's hard, just all the way around, and I know that there's a lot of people who, it's hard to wrap your mind around this, but what I also believe is that there's enough people who voice concern, pros or cons, that I think that we really need to take a moment to step back and remember as elected officials that we're here to hear the public. And I think we need to do that. And I think that that is what this does. It doesn't resolve anything. It allows us to have a healthy, civil conversation about how we should best move forward. And I think what my biggest concern is making sure that we're doing that, and we're doing that well for the public in general. We're doing that quick, we're doing that efficiently, and most importantly, I think transparently. And I think that's very important for this. And so I know there are some people who might be upset with how they found out about this. We also did receive all this information, including the, description of what was going on. So I think it is also our duty and our due diligence as the members of the council to read our emails on a pretty regular basis, knowing when they come out. And then if we do have questions and we are getting calls, then that's then when we talk to our city administrator and find out if there's additional things or additional concerns, which I'm assuming is status quo and that we all have been doing and have been bringing forth the concerns that we've seen or the pros and cons of this. But this really needs to be in a public sphere, ultimately.
That's the one big thing that I'm getting from the public, that we talk transparency all the time, and not a council member knew about it. But we're gonna be so transparent.
Well, I think that's why you have the public hearing. There's the transparency, Tom.
Yeah.
No, I agree with Tom too, though, that I worked on Friday, and when I got home, my phone had been lighting up for 2 hours and I can't answer it. And then you hear the first time on Friday night, well, now all of a sudden, there's nobody at City Hall on Saturday, nobody there on Sunday, and you're trying to field some of these questions. I mean, it would have been nice to have a heads up, because there are some concerns down in our neighborhood. We got the Oak Court. I mean, I had a few people call from there. I mean, am I losing my house? You know, am I gonna be out in the street? And, you know, I mean, they take it for the worst case scenario, and you hate to create panic and, you know, mistrust, because they don't read it, and then I'm telling them, I don't know, but I'll get back to you, and I'll find out. So, I mean, it would have been nice to at least say, hey, check your agendas as soon as you can, because we've got some stuff coming up there about Cheetah, you know? And I think most everybody would have understood, okay, well, what is it, you know? And if that could have been just relayed before it got to the media or whatever. So like he says, when we're fielding questions, it's up to us to have gone and got some information early on so that we know what's going.
I would also encourage any of you at any time to contact me or forward citizen concerns, and very few of you did that. So
We're doing it right now.
Right,
Because
but
it's just
I'm,
been
We don't
going
have
on
that
for the
much
last,
time between
the last
Friday
3
night
days
and
it's been
Monday.
going on. I couldn't write them all down. I'm
well,
just saying, you
but
know.
I'm available to you to help you with those things, especially if you're unsure about something I've done. I want to hear that and be able to best. I do have some questions that I think some of them will be answered when we get to the next agenda item that I want to make sure we clear up. But I can only do my best for you to the extent that I know what your concerns are when you have them.
One of the things also, if this information is mailed out to us, and if we're reading it, we should know how to respond to when we get our calls.
Say again?
Right?
This is mailed out, wasn't it? It's
When
online.
do you receive it though?
When
Don?
did you get your packet?
Let's see, Saturday.
There you are. These calls were coming Friday night.
We got it by
Okay.
email on Friday.
With all due respect, I hear your concerns. I think we should focus on our agenda items in front of us.
Right.
All right, moving on.
Item 8.05 is a resolution calling for a public hearing on the questions of the need for a housing and redevelopment authority to function in the city of Crookston, Your Honor.
Motion to approve this resolution.
Aye.
Thank you. Clayton, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Christie, thank you. Discussion. I guess I'll put that in Amy's court here.
One of the biggest questions that began spreading through the community on Friday was that the city was intending to eliminate the Housing and Redevelopment Authority, which would mean no more Section 8 housing or HUD. That is completely inaccurate. Should things move forward, it is essential, if the Crookston and Housing and Economic Development Authority does not exist as it does today, to put back the Housing and Redevelopment Authority independently, and that's what this public hearing would call for. The last 3 agenda items really do work in concert with each other. It would be city staff, and I don't want to speak for you, but I believe it would be your desire also not to cause disruption. That's not the intent. The intent is to do things better and do it in a way that we can seamlessly reestablish the HRA independently without causing disruption in those services. So this resolution to call a public hearing would be to determine that, yes, in fact, the city does need a housing and redevelopment authority, and the statutes and the criteria are outlined for you in the resolution and in the notice. That's available on our website if any of you wish to review that and weren't able to get an agenda. So this works, it is intended to work in conjunction with the first resolution so that there would be no cause and disruption for those services.
Any other discussion? Have roll call, please.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Kressel,
Aye.
Platt,
Aye.
Ved
I'm
Brutton.
gonna abstain from this one too, because to me, there's not enough here, and it goes hand in hand with Cheetahs, they're together. And until we decide what we're gonna do there, I don't think we should be making a resolution to do this. We need to make some decisions on what we wanna do here as a council. And the only way you're gonna do that is to have some meetings to do it. And they shouldn't have to involve all the public and drag them all in on this either until we decide what we wanna do.
Melby,
Aye.
Jurdy,
Aye.
Erickson.
Nay.
Your Honor, we have 6 yes, 1 no, and 1 no vote. It passes.
Okay, motion carries.
Your item 8.06 is to introduce an ordinance authorizing and creating a community development department.
Motion to approve this ordinance authorizing and creating a community development department.
I'll motion.
Thank you,
Second.
Christie. Second by Don. Thank you. Discussion.
So now if these don't pass, these other resolutions that you got don't pass, things like this won't get voted on, right? You just got it there in case you need to proceed in that direction, correct?
This is just the first introduction of the ordinance, so you will see it again. Each of these things will come before you again for final action. Yes.
Why don't we wait with that until we figure out what we're gonna do?
Well, the intent would be, again, not to cause disruption, to not, if the public hearings move forward and decisions are made, to not have something in place to continue on handling economic development activities will in fact cause a disruption. So we feel it is essential to have these 3 pieces together in order to be able to continue on depending on how council moves forward at future meeting.
So my other concern on this whole thing is, how as a city are we going to do the EDA, the HRA? I mean,
Councilman Erickson, we are not suggesting the HRA would be set up independently.
okay, so by the time we make transition, who covers that?
The HRA, it would
All
need,
of it?
well, the HRA would be an independent and would have a board. And that we do plan to discuss that in the future. Today's not the time, we don't believe, to do that. And a director, this ordinance, should it go through, defines the community development department and establishes a director that would be under the city's umbrella. My opinion, and I've worked in a city that functioned in this way, a community development director that's part of the team, the city hires professional staff that we expect to be subject matter experts in their area. To have an economic development director under the community development department that can be part of that team, that has immediate access to the city's finance department, the city's utilities, the city's building official, the civil engineer, all of these things play a part in every development and should. So much efficiency could be gained by having all of those resources available to this person. That could be used to develop recommendations to the administrator that then come to the council. I've operated under a system like this, and it worked very efficiently with the people that were hired to know those things and work for the council and for the public, and having them on one team, I believe can create efficiency and some cost savings.
How many people are we gonna have to hire to do all this?
We're recommending 1 hire for a community development director.
Then how about your housing? How many you gonna have for that?
On the housing, well,
Yeah.
there's staff already for housing. There's staff covering the housing now.
So are they guaranteed to stay where they're at, is what you're saying?
Steve, I have not, that was not what we were prepared to talk about, but again, we had no intent of disrupting services. And that, today, we were prepared just to ask for the public hearings and the introduction of the ordinance.
So I still think that we're lacking the backing to really go teeth deep into this thing. I mean, and I understand, yeah, I'd love to have the public input and this and that, but at the same time, we, you know, I don't know, you must evidently been working on this for months to come up with this plan and everything else, and
I
unless
have-
you knew how to do it overnight, but at the end of the day, we need, you know, I want some background on it. I mean, that's what I'm,
Could you, from the council, could you help me know what additional information that I could gather for you before the next meeting? And I would be happy to do that.
I'd like the pros and cons of both our economic development that we have now and the pros and cons of what you're gonna have in mind.
And I do plan already to present that to you at the next meeting. I did not feel it was appropriate today because the decision before you today is to determine if you are calling a public hearing. So I felt it would be most appropriate to present that information to you should you move forward with the public hearings.
I would like to see how the efficiencies really could be better, and just the oversight in general, and how it would look from whoever it happens to, I don't manage or the board or what have you. I'd like to see what that outline would look like, and just I'd like to see a bigger picture. I'm a big picture person. So I'd like to see just an organizational chart of how this could create more efficiency, to better understand. And I think the city in general would probably, or our constituents would like to probably see how that could better suit our city.
Thank you.
Because I think that's what a lot of people are kind of curious to know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on, reports. Amy.
Pat, I'm sorry, but I am going to thank you for your service. I know you don't want me to, but truly, Pat and Scott Riepel, thank you for your service to the community long before I came, and since I've been here, for helping me learn and get better. And we will miss you, and we'll try not to call you too much, but we can't make any concrete promises on that. And I also want to extend thanks to those of you that came to tonight's meeting, and those of you that may be watching live. I think it is really important and vital that the community is involved with their local government. So I appreciate those of you that came out tonight and joined us at the meeting. I hope that you will share over the next few weeks your ideas, your thoughts with your council members. You are welcome to reach out to me at any time here at City Hall. So thank you for coming out.
Thank you, Amy. Chief Frober.
I would also like to just thank Pat and Scott for all their years of service. And it's been a pleasure working with those guys all these years, and they'll truly be missed.
Thank you. Greg.
No report tonight, Your Honor, and again, Pat and Scott, thank you for your time and effort in showing me the ropes as a role of the public. You've been very helpful, I appreciate that.
Thank you. Let's see, got Scott Butt.
No report tonight, Your Honor, just Pat and Scott, thanks for everything.
Thank you. Chad.
No report, Your Honor.
Chief Biermeyer.
Your Honor, I just want to say thanks to Pat and Scott and let the public know that in all the years I've been here with the police department, I don't think there has been a single time that when we've had a need or we've needed to come up with a plan for an event or something like that, Pat and Scott have always stepped up to the plate, and that's kind of how the whole city departments work together. Just a good illustration of it. Thank you, Pat and Scott.
Thank you. Ryan.
No report tonight, Your Honor.
Who am I missing? Scott. Gotta save the best for last. Let's start with Scott Riepel.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
No report, Scott?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Last time to shine. Pat? Won't go there. I think I got everybody.
Yeah, you do.
I'll start with Tom.
Just congratulations, Pat and Scott. Pat, you've always been good to talk to, and hold on to the question, and you either, you know, if you could, you did. If you didn't, explain why not. Thank you much.
Delane?
Just want to thank Pat and Scott for a job well done. It's, this day and age, it's becoming more rare of, folks being in positions for as many years as you guys have, and it's a tribute to you and your character, so thank you very much.
Joe?
Just want to say thanks like everybody else, the same, ditto to the same thing, and the CVB website is up and running, so if anybody wants to look at it, go online and check it out.
All right, thank you. Don?
I'd like to thank Scott on the park board. Congratulations. It was fun working with you over the past years in the park board. And also Mr. What's your name again? Pat. We have had some good discussions about Ward 4, and I appreciate your help down there. You still have some work to do down there, so. I just have a quick report on the Chamber of Commerce. They are, Joyce Presley is volunteered to fill that position part-time until they get a new hire. And so that's about it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Clayton?
Well, congratulations, Pat, Scott. Done a lot of years together, and like I said earlier, it's always good response when you come in and talk to either one of them. So thank you and best luck in your retirement.
Thank you. Steve?
Same thing, that many years in both those positions, God bless you. And the other thing, I take a moment to think about Jess Bingston with what she's going through. She does have a fundraiser coming up here. She's done a ton for this community. She's a huge supporter of Crookston. And when she has her benefit, make sure we get out and support her, because she is a special person, and we need to repay back what she's done for us. So.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Christie?
We had Parks and Board tonight, and so it seems like it's a very busy June for the swimming pool, so that's great to hear, between swim lessons and party rentals and just open swim. The summer programs are going to be starting up, starting June 7th, so that's exciting to get those kids out there. We talked a little bit about frolfing, because there's quite the enthusiasts in our community. And so at this point, it looks like they are trying to set up a course in Castle Park, and hopefully we'll have that up by the end of the week. And so that's exciting to hear, as well as possibly thinking of future pieces for Central Park as that is developed. So I'm excited to hear that as well. Other than that, congratulations, Pat and Scott. Enjoy your time and the hard work you did. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Christie. Wayne?
Well, I should say something about Pat and Scott and working with them over the last few years, but I'll refrain. No, it's been good. They're always helpful, and you know, if it's moving snow from somebody's house that can't get out when it's ice and clutter, they did it. They seem to get everything done, and like you said, the projects and the different you know, programs that we've had, it's good. The other thing I'd like to say is I appreciate everybody that showed up tonight, and I myself will stick around afterwards for, you know, half hour, whatever. If you guys want to talk with me now tonight, so that I don't have to burn up my minutes on my phone and burn my ear, I'd be more than willing to sit down at the table with anybody that wants to sit and give me some of their opinions or some input for future use here, okay? Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Wayne. I also like to thank Pat and Scott. Your expertise is gonna be missed, and I appreciate for all you two have done for the city. I also like to thank everybody that showed up tonight. Please reach out to us, the council, if you've got any pros and cons. We need your input, it's very valuable. I've got one kudos to the park department. It's about the frolfing at Castle Park. This was sent to me a couple days ago. They said, thanks for letting us have the baskets at Castle for the new 9-hole. Went and played last night, super fun. Thanks to the city workers for cleaning it up down there. Big thanks, looks awesome. So once again, thank you to the park department. I guess that would be Scott Butt that organized all that. Thank you again.
Your Honor, I just wanted to remind the council that we don't want to have a quorum, so just remember that after the mayor says adjourned, we cannot have a quorum. So just to remind all the council.
Thank you, Ashley. Just a reminder, there will be no Ways and Means meeting tonight. Nothing else to come before council. We are adjourned.